We are still busy with our direct marketing campaign and how to manage that. We started off yesterday with that image on the screen, not on the screen, that the image that we had with your marketing plan, then setting, identifying your target audience, setting your marketing objectives. Then you have creative decisions that you had to take, and then also today, as you see on the screen, we have our media decisions that we have to take. In other words, what out of that range that we have summarized and that you find on the screen and in chapter 11, which ones of those are we going to use? Are we going to use one? Are we going to use a combination of them? It will very much depend on what product we are selling and or trying to sell, and what specific industry we're in. Very often, the popular and the safe approach or strategy is to choose one of these media to anchor your marketing campaign, and then supplement them with a combination of the others. Maybe sometimes you use direct mailing initially just to get the ball rolling, follow it up by a telemarketing activity, posting catalogues on your website, or handing it out or circulating it through the print media in newspapers and magazines. Throughout that, complement your whole effort by sending out texts, WhatsApps to customers, or emails, obviously, using a combination of all of these. But let's go into more detail into each of these to see how they can contribute to our marketing communication efforts. Because we have the product, we know who our target audience is. How are we going to inform those customers, those potential customers and existing customers, that we have something new, that we have a special on? Right. Direct mail. Direct mail is the simplest, most commonly known form, probably traditionally the one that was most effectively used in the past. That's the actual printed version of promotional material that ends up in the mailbox. It goes to the mailboxes of people in businesses, especially big business complexes where they have multiple tenants and there's multiple mailboxes. We are not referring here to electronic mail, emails that goes out. That's a total different. We'll deal with that in more detail, and specifically e-commerce and how it is evolved in chapter 12. But direct mail is the material that you actually post, and believe me, it actually still happened. There are certain parts of the world that it is still very popular, purely because contrary to what we would like to believe, there's a very big part of the world that's still not connected via the internet. It's very often in remote rural areas, and the old traditional way of communicating still happens, and you still need to. I think you might remember from some of the consumer behavior that we did in the first semester, and then also we did that in year 1 in our business marketing, and that is the different. I think the tool that was used was to determine our LSM levels, level 1 to level 10, and find out exactly what media is available to a specific target market. If you know that the target audience that you're trying to reach are not going to read any, don't actually have mailboxes, and they're not going to read any printed information that you send to them, then you're not going to use direct mail. But there are still areas we cannot just exclude it and totally say, yeah, that's old school. Who still nowadays has a mailbox and writes letters and receives letters? People, there are still many parts in the world where that's the only way of reaching and communicating certain individuals. Direct mail can be very effective. It depends on obviously the quality of your mailing list. I mean, if you're going to send the wrong things out to the wrong people, then obviously you're going to miss your target. There are a few mailing lists that's available. We'll also, as I said yesterday, later on in the chapter, look at the impact of the POPI Act that came into play 1st of July 2021. How that has impacted on access to some of these mailing lists that have been used successfully in the past by businesses. Your consumer lists, if a business would have a list of people who are subscribing to a particular magazine, your membership lists, for instance, if you want to distribute on topic of what you did in your assignment, health products and exercise and products, performance products like win offers, it would be nice to have access to or to obtain information about gym membership. In other words, who the people are and where you can contact, how you can contact them. So that from those consumers lists, that information is available, and it has business to business. The third one on the list. There are businesses who obviously specialize in gathering this information and then selling it. Like it says here right at the bottom, because these mailing lists so quickly get outdated that very often people just pay a fee to a company that supplies them with updated lists regularly, because they are in business to collect information and sell that information. Again, something that's going to that is now prohibited by the POPI Act. Very often we are expected to, when we purchase a product, or maybe it could be online, or it could be through a retail outlet. I know that at some point Pick n Pay used that. They had it at the checkout till. They had that little rate our service, those three faces, the smiley face and the red face and the not so sure face. You can quickly, by just touchscreen, use indicate. Those are kinds of that's a form of a survey, for instance. That gives you valuable information about people's lifestyles. There are specific questionnaires that go out that can determine that, and that's specifically targeted at doing that. It fortunately nowadays also always gives you the option to opt out and not to participate. That's also part of the POPI Act, or how it is impacted, where you are given the opportunity to not disclose any information. The house list refers to your internal records that you have available, and that usually have two parts, and that is your existing customers who are currently still buying from you. So you want to start with them because they are already on your database or in your database, and they are already supporting the products that you are offering, and they are most likely satisfied, otherwise they would not do repeat business. And then also you have a database of prospective or prospects or potential customers that you are still want to convert to start to shop and support your brand. So both those are in-house information, the one you'll get from your sales and marketing department, because they are the ones who are doing the prospecting and finding these new customers. And as we said yesterday, it's a continuous process, because you are going to lose customers for various reasons. The most obvious ones that they pass on because they just have reached the end of the road. It could also be that they are become dissatisfied with you. It could also be that they have changed to a different phase of their lives in their life cycle, and they don't have a need for the product or products that your business is offering. There are various reasons, and that's why you have to focus on keeping your existing customers satisfied, but you also still have to all the time prospect and try and find new ones. There are 5 W's, or the questions that you have to ask yourself when you are preparing for direct mailing activities, and that would be to, obviously, who's the target market? What response are you expecting from them? Just information, or is it to make a sale? Why should they buy from you, or why should they follow up and react to your WhatsApp, for instance, asking if they're interested or not? Where can you reach them? We're busy with that process. What medium is the one that suits a particular target audience best, and when's the best time to reach them? Okay, when it comes to direct mail is not necessarily a because it comes via your mailbox. It often, or not often, it all the times is going to be. There is no exact time that's the best time to reach people. Although sometimes people know that when statements go out and accounts go out from creditors, it usually happens after a certain date in a month, and because of that, people tend to treat all kinds of correspondence that they find in their mailbox similarly to that. Nobody likes getting those bills. If you do your correspondence via direct mail in that same period that people are usually getting their bills, they are going to not pay attention to it as much as at a particular time, like, let's say, for instance, the middle of the month. But again, depending on what you are selling and who you want to reach, you also want to make sure that people get that information at the time that they know that they have the money to afford such a purchase, should they be interested. But again, not a lot of us are actually still receiving any mail or using a post box. But those would be the questions that you need to ask should you engage in that kind of activities. All right, something else that we obviously need to look at is telemarketing. Telemarketing has always been very, very popular for business, or popular medium for businesses to use. Personally, a number of years ago, when I was with a different company, also in the educational industry, we were seriously considering using telemarketers to increase the number of prospects that you can reach, investing in a switchboard and employing telemarketers to basically do a lot of your marketing efforts for you. Telemarketing is a communication system. It's trained individuals who either use telecommunications or they use IT to conduct marketing and sales activities. And it takes on 2 shapes and forms. You get inbound telemarketing and you get outbound telemarketing. Inbound telemarketing is where the prospect contacts you, usually in reply to direct mail or a catalog or an ad that they saw, where you have a contact number that they can phone for more information. Usually there are websites and there are that people can access as well, but often the choice is provided, and the phone number that the prospect will react to would be the one that that's in that information, and that's a form of inbound telemarketing, where outbound is exactly what it says. You have a list of names in front of you that you phone, and that list, like we have said previously in a few slides back, the lists comprise of prospects that you want to reach. Usually, because of modern technology, our databases have become much bigger because they are all computerized. In other words, a database that the company has is broken up into little sections based on whatever your keywords is that you select. It is sent to specific telemarketers, and they phone the people on the list that they have in front of them, and they also then refer. They are linked to a particular salespeople to follow them up and to follow up and complete the transaction, because the telemarketer is just going to is informing you of products that's available. They're not necessarily going to make the sale. They are probably going to, if it gets to that point where you're that you can when it gets to that point where you actually are going to then close the deal and make a sale, usually another salesperson become involved in the process as well. It's also for follow-up. Usually when there's been a positive response to the telemarketer calling you, a salesperson will follow up, and that information will be passed on to a salesperson who follows up with the prospect and make an appointment to do a presentation or even a demonstration of a product. Right. Telemarketers we hate, because telemarketers, we believe, don't know the time of day when they have to phone us, and I'm not sure if it's exactly 100% accurate, but it sometimes feels like they did. Yeah. But as we've determined throughout earlier on in the course of it, there is no right time to contact a customer. If you phone them during business hours, they're going to be busy with work, and you're going to be interrupting or disrupting them. And similarly, when you phone them after hours, when they are actually on leisure time, it's their own time, and people don't want to be interrupted, especially not by people trying to sell them things that they probably don't need or don't want. But again, still, telemarketing is not just going to all of a sudden disappear. Now, in July 2021, the POPI Act, Protection of Personal Information Act, came was placed into action. Basically, what the POPI Act means is that you can use direct marketing strategies like email and messages and direct phone calls on your existing clients. You can't use it on new clients. Major changes. You can use it on existing clients. You may only use these clients to sell a product or a service which is similar to those that they previously have bought. Okay, so you can't go to an existing customer and say, right, so you've been buying product B from us all the time. We now have product C as well. No, it must be, if product C is not similar to product B, maybe a newer version of it, an updated version of it. You can't sell them. If you were selling cell phones, and now all of a sudden you're phoning your existing customers to say, you know what, you've been supporting us for a while now with your cell phone contracts, but all of a sudden, you know what, we're also now selling houses. You can't do that. It's got to be a similar product to the one that they have bought up to that point, and what has made them a client with you. The client also has the full right to request to terminate all communication with you at any time. The The impact of the POPI Act is not entirely kicked in yet, because I'm not sure if all businesses are complying 100% with this yet. But it's only been a month or two. As a matter of fact, it's just been over 2.5 months. So we all knew it was going to happen, and businesses prepared for it. But it's got significant impact on how we communicate with, or how marketers communicate with prospects or potential customers and existing customers. It might be technically true that if a person puts their number on a website or a social page, that they publish this information and it's actually open to the public, but you cannot use that number for a sales call. You can see that there's major impact that the POPI Act can have. It's not going to necessarily make telemarketing disappear. It's just going to ensure that they need to be creative and use it in a different manner. Only people who are previous clients or customers can receive calls, and spamming and cold calling is not allowed anymore. These are very, very, and these points that I'm raising now related to the POPI Act is specifically on telemarketing, not on any other form of marketing, specifically on telemarketing. The POPI Act also ensures that nobody receives automated calls, as your number will stay safely encrypted in a system you give permission to. You are not allowed to call someone more than once. And if they decide that they don't want to do business with you, or that they don't want to receive calls in the future, they can just simply decide to opt out. Hence the fact that that option has been provided by recently by most of these telemarketers, where after you are not allowed to contact them again. People, this is all because some lines were crossed in the past as to information that is supposed to be personal information was just made public without the permission of most of these people. And that is why an act like this had to be proclamated and actioned. Right, so you have to keep, as a business, good record for who you actually have contacted. Have to update your databases. And you can't buy databases from other parties anymore. Very interesting. 7 very, very, very direct influences on how telemarketing is supposed to be done from now on. I would like to obviously see how many businesses actually comply to that. Right. Enough about the POPI Act. Mobile marketing, businesses sending out texts. I mean, that's very common, especially in businesses. I know almost on a daily basis, banks send you information, magazines, insurance companies, fast foods, all of these. This is a very popular way for them to just send you a small text on your mobile. And the advantages is that it's very cost effective. It's compared to direct mail, it's very, very inexpensive. It's personalized because you as the customer get it. It might be a generic message that goes out, but it's actually, or sometimes it is personalized, like the one that my son got earlier this week. It was addressed at him. It says, hi, and his name, this and this and this is the product that we offer. It came to my phone because, I mean, they obviously they obviously got their wires crossed and their database is not up to date with his information. But I just ignored it because there was no point in even replying to something like that. If there's no response, I'm pretty sure that they will try again up to the point that I opt out. But let's just see how that one progresses. But usually it is personalized. Very often you get, many of them are generic, but you also get personalized messages. You can target a specific group. Very often it's millennials and Gen Zs because they are on their phones most of the time. It's also very interactive. It could start a two-way conversation because you are given the option to either yes or no to respond. Yes, I want more information. No, I don't. You can also build a very nice relationship with your customers. It's one of the other major advantages is that it's time flexible because it could be sent out any time of day. It could be sent more than once during a particular day. And it is a very effective way of collecting data and building databases with a lot of information. Almost done with this chapter. Catalog marketing. Obviously, I think macro, I've used that as an image because it's one that's very popular. We always find it in a magazine or, in a newspaper or just in that format. And when you go to macro also, they have it displayed at the entrance. It's also there for you to collect. They have printed copies lying waiting there for you to pick up and use while you're shopping there, also to take home and browse through further or in more detail. And then obviously on the websites they have an exact copy of this as well. It is expensive because it has to be updated regularly, and people who shop and you use catalogs to shop from prefer different versions of it. So you have to do an electronic version of it as well as the printed version, obviously that being the more expensive one. The internet version is the one that most businesses have opted for nowadays, and that is because has been a huge increase in people shopping online. We started off the session today, and I said that we are obviously still busy with our steps of managing our direct marketing campaign. We started off by ensuring that our marketing plan is part of the bigger plan, and that the promotional marketing mix align with what the company is trying to achieve, what their objectives are, in line with their mission and vision. You identify the correct target audience, you set your objectives, you use your creativity when you're designing your materials, and also in combination of media that you use to get the message out to your customers. And obviously, at the end of this, you want to know how successful you have been or not, and you will be doing the evaluation. Now, it's very often done in-house by the business themselves because they have been managing the whole campaign. But very often, the entire direct marketing campaign is outsourced to an agency who specializes in that, and they or then we also have agencies that just do the evaluations of the campaign. The objectives that you will evaluate it against would determine on what your intention was initially. Is this whole, or was this whole marketing campaign, direct marketing campaign, focused on or attempting to increase your sales volumes? Did you just want to determine what the response rate would be from customers? Are you trying to get new inquiries? What specifically was your objective? And you will obviously evaluate the success of your campaign against the objectives that you have set initially. Right. Bill Gates. Network marketing. Network marketing. That's what you dealt with in your assignment. If I've been given another chance to start all over again, I will use network marketing. In other words, network marketing, initially you put in a lot of effort, you do all the hard work, but as your network has established, you start earning a passive income. In other words, you're earning income on other people's efforts without you running the big risks, but just getting the rewards. I'm pretty sure at this stage, Bill is quite happy with where he is in the tub. People, I'm going to finish the session right here because we're at the end of chapter 11. Let's take a break. How do you feel? Are you guys still strong? We sort of 5 minutes short of where we would have been. Would you like to use that extra 5 minutes just to reboot yourself, re-energize, refuel, whatever, and we stick to the normal timetable, and we start the next session at 1:20 as it was scheduled. It's up to you. Or if you just need a 5-minute break and you want to finish 5 minutes earlier, I'm also fine for that. But it's entirely up to you. But what would you prefer? Who's the spokesperson today? Jessica?
Hi, sir.
Hi. So we stick to the normal timetable and we take a longer break now and start at 1:20?
Yeah, sure. Whatever's
good. I don't mind. How are you feeling today?
With my hands, sir. No, I'm alright. My throat does feel a bit scratchy, but I think I'm just overthinking it. But
yeah, it's almost as if nothing was wrong until somebody told you something's wrong. Yeah. Now all of a sudden, now you're picking up on the small things. It's there must be something wrong. Yes. Okay, you're trying to validate it, but it's not necessary. It's fine. But I'm glad you still sound good.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Good luck, everybody. If there's anybody that has any questions, I know I had some questions. Colin, did you read the email response? Is it helping you with the question on the assignment?
Yeah, sir, it helped me.
Did it help you? You got it. You got to the right page in the textbook, and it does help you.
Yes, thank you.
In other words, if I take what's on the screen and I go a few slides back, something like that would be something that you can design, right? Okay, that's what the design, or specifically that question, a design refers to get something like that mocked up. That's what the mock-up design referred to. Okay, I'm glad that I was informative enough in the response. Okay, so enjoy a break. We catch in a couple of minutes time. We'll start again at 1:20. Okay.